Hey guys, it's vf.miniatures, but today we're going to be talking about tactics. Today I'm showcasing my Deathwatch collection, my 8,000 points of Deathwatch. This is my favorite army in 40k. I have around 7 different factions. I have Thousand Suns, I have Death Guard, I have Tau, I have Necrons, and etc. But this one is my favorite. And today I'll show you all the models. We'll talk about why I have chosen some of these for my collection, how I use them, how I've converted many of them. Almost everything in this army is in some way, shape or form converted or changed and made up from different parts, because that's how I feel Deathwatch should be treated. As a collection combination of different chapters, they should all look slightly different one from another. So without further ado, let's dive right in. So let's first start with the troops. I've initially wanted to have a lot of primaries in my army, because I've started to collect Deathwatch back in 8th edition, and back then there was such a thing as special issue ammunition on Primaris Marines. Now the special issue ammunition is only available for Deathwatch veterans. I'll show you them in a minute. And back then it was available to all infantry and bikers, so I wanted to have a horde of Primaris intercessors running up the board with apothecary and shooting the special issue bolters. But that rule was eliminated for Primaris Marines in 9th edition, which is something that I still don't understand. This rule should have been available for everyone still, but probably they thought that it would be too powerful for the intercessors to have. So that's the part here that are my troops. So let's first start with the, probably with the intercessors themselves. I don't have a lot of them. I have only 10 assault intercessors and 6 regular guys. And I'll show you a couple of them. That's how the assault intercessors look. I've gone for this style, this matte style. Actually, the whole army is painted by the commission painters at vf.miniatures painting studio, so if you like what you see, you can go and check out our website. The link will be in the description below. We've gone for this matte look for the armor, and I think it looks best. It's much better than the glossy black, which looks like more like a toy. This definitely feels like ceramite to me. So this guy, as you can see, is a white scar, and he has a pauldron, shoulder pad, a white scarf shoulder pad, and he also has a special helmet from the White Scars upgrade pack, and nothing else special about him, just a regular assault intercessor from the Indomitus box. And moving on to the sergeant, I think that I've decided that this guy will be a sergeant. We decided with the painter that we'll give him 2 pistols, so he'll be running like a crazy akimbo guy from Call of Duty. So he has a rune amulet from the Space Wolves upgrade kit, his special sergeant shield on the chest here, and the accessory from, again, the Space Wolves upgrade pack. Here is a regular intercessor from the regular intercessor squad, not the assault one. As you can see, he again has a special Blood Angels shoulder pad with the vial of blood and a book with the symbol Blood Angels on his back. I don't know what he writes there. As Blood Angels, I remember they are like poets and artists, so I imagine that he has some poems written there in his book of his own creation. And the seal, purity seal on his backpack, and again a Blood Angel symbol here. Let's move on to the infiltrators. I actually have 10 of these, so there they are. Let's start with this 11th guy. That's, as you can see, the Helix Adept of the Infiltrator squad. So he has this small Narthecium on his hand with a very nice looking screen, shiny screen, and 2 bulbs, red and green, with some healing liquids, as I imagine. On his back he has a a bag with some doctor's accessories, I guess, and his backpack is a custom one. What I mean by custom, it does not come from the Infiltrator kit, it's from the Deathwatch Veteran kit with his Auspex. He has Black Templar's shoulder pad from the Black Templar's upgrade pack. So quite a bit of different accessories used on this guy, but not too converted compared to some other models that I have in my collection. Here is another Infiltrator guy. He has a pistol. He looks very, very cool. I like how they've added this style of posing for the Infiltrator models. He has a pistol and his carbine is hanging from this side. He's an Imperial Fist and probably no other accessories on him. In terms of keeping models different in terms of their chapter allegiance, I've gone for this mixed style. What I mean by that is I have some squads where there are a couple of guys from the same chapter, like here, for example. You can see that in this Assault Intercessors blob, there is two guys from the Space Wolves, and in some squads I've decided to have only one of each, as usually is the correct way, as the lore suggests. So there are some cases when Deathwatch have a couple of guys from the same chapter hanging around, but usually, as the tithe of serving in Deathwatch only comes once in a while, only one soldier from the given chapter serves in a particular watch fortress from one chapter, but there are some exceptions to that rule. So I've gone for those exceptions, I've used them, and that's why some squads are made completely from one chapter of Space Marines. Now let's move on to the Deathwatch Veterans. I have 30 of those and plus 7 Vanguard Vets / Deathwatch Veterans that I can use in conjunction with one another if I need more models for some squads, but usually these are used just as Vanguard Vets. All these models are completely magnetized, and that's what I would recommend to each and every Deathwatch player if you are starting to collect Deathwatch. The Deathwatch Veterans are what you absolutely should magnetize, even though it's quite a lot of labor. It may be expensive, but it is completely worth it, because rules are changing constantly. Today Lightning Claw is the best weapon, tomorrow the Power Sword will be the best weapon, and if you have just Lightning Claws and Storm Shields, or as was the case with the Deathwatch Veterans of the 8th edition, the Storm Bolter and the Storm Shield was a typical loadout and everyone had those, and then the special issue ammunition went missing from the Storm Bolters, and now they had to just saw off those arms with the Storm Bolters, which is obviously not great. That's why I've asked the painters to magnetize all of the models when they were assembling them. Let's look at the models themselves. I'll try to show you as many as possible in this case, because they are all very unique looking. Here is a Blood Angel Sergeant. You can see he has a Blood Angels helmet from the Blood Angels Space Marines upgrade pack. It's from the Firstborn Marines, not the Primaris one. And the chainsword from the Death Company box is, if I recall correctly, the Blood Angels bolt gun. I've gone for this black styled shoulder pad because I think it looks cool, and I have a lot of typical red shoulder pads, as you can see already, so I wanted to have something different. You see the cables, and his screen on his arm is nicely picked out by the painter, which I highly value in my models. So I've asked them to pay as much attention to the details with these guys as possible, because I think they deserve it and they should look as real veterans with a lot of experience and a lot of well-painted accessories on them. As you can see, he has some special issue bolt shells on his chest, which are also picked out and highlighted. Let's move on to the other guy. This one is from the something Hawks, I don't remember. Again, chainsword and bolt gun. Again, all the details are completely picked out. The Space Wolf, he is sometimes also a sergeant. I interchange which guys are the sergeants between the games because I want all of them to have some commands in action. Again, bolt gun, again chainsword. Not a lot of accessories on this one. This one is pretty simple probably. Only he has this, it's some kind of a relic with a bone of his, probably his comrade, fallen comrade. Next one is the Space Wolf, again, but from a different, probably again a successor chapter. This is a Dren Red Blade model from the kill team, the something kill team. I'll show it on the screen later. The chainsword, a knife and bolt gun on his back. This one is also kitted out so he can be an apothecary. As you can see, he has apothecary accessories on his belt. His knife is in blood because he was opening up his comrades to help them with their injuries, I guess. And he has also the lights on his backpack as an apothecary should, so he is able to see all that he needs to see during his operations in the field. Next is the Dark Angel. He has a bolt gun again, a chainsword, and well, nothing special apart from a purity seal on him. Let's move on to some guys with jump packs. I really like these ones in particular because their lightning claws are colored. I have some lightning claws which are just simply metal, but later I've learned that I really like how the colored lightning claws look and asked for some to be painted. So this one is from the Ultramarines, and I've given him a blue claw because that is a nice color symmetry right there. His shoulder pad is from the Ultramarines upgrade pack. I've found it to be much better looking than the Primaris ones. Yeah, it's probably a Vanguard veteran model. I have some jump packs from the Death Company kit. I have some jump packs from the Assault Squad and some from the Vanguard Veterans kit. Next, the Raven Guard model. So he has a cool helmet with the laurels, the lightning claw, an orange one in this case, and a chain sword. And again, you can see he is fully magnetized. I've used some stronger magnets on some of those and weaker on others, and usually if you use quality magnets, it really doesn't matter what category they are, they will be enough to hold the arms in place. This is an Ultramarines Sergeant. He has an Ultramarines shoulder pad. This one is probably from the Deathwatch Veterans kit, if I recall correctly. This one has a bolt gun, a violet lightning claw, and some accessory on his belt. Let's move on to the Space Wolf. This one has a red lightning claw and the shoulder pad from the Primaris pack with the rune nicely lighted up in blue. And the chainsword has some blood on it, which looks very, very menacing. And the next one is also Space Wolves. I actually have a lot of Space Wolf guys in this squad. That's interesting. And this one has a nice green lightning claw and a very, very extreme haircut, I must admit. And he also has a melter bomb on his belt. I've wanted to, well, one of the models to actually have a melter bomb to represent use of the melter bomb stratagem in game. I use the stratagem quite a lot. It's a very effective one and it helps me to deal with some heavily fortified stuff. It's actually helped me in tournaments a lot when I wanted to crack open some vehicle that was a bit too tough for my lightning claws or chain swords to open up all by themselves. This one is a very, very nice looking Sergeant, Dark Angel Sergeant. He has a shoulder pad from the Death Company kit, but I think that it looks very cool with the Dark Angels look that we were going for with him. I really like the pose that I have on this guy with how he is holding the shield and measuring himself up to the big Tyranid monster that is in front of him. And on his shield he has this purity seal with the symbol of the Imperium Eagle, and he has a very, very nice cloak with some nice smooth shadows and texture. And he has a backpack from the Dark Angels upgrade kit, the Firstborn one. It's very hard to find now, but probably if you search on eBay you will be able to. As you can see, I've gone for the Mars style bases for the whole army. I think they are perfect in terms of contrast for the Deathwatch. They're mostly black armor. They look nice in my opinion, and some tufts on the bases as well, because how can you have Space Marines without tufts on the bases? It's probably a mortal sin. The other guy is a salamander, probably a successor. I don't know which successor that is. No, it's not a successor. I remember that it's just a company of salamanders. Don't remember which company, but it's just a regular salamander. Again, chainsword, a storm shield, and a helmet, a Deathwatch helmet with this I letter, and auspex on his backpack, and the knife, and that's probably it for him. The next guy is the Black Templar with a huge eviscerator. Actually, I use this guy as if he has a storm shield, but I just imagine that he has an inbuilt power generator in this huge guard for his hand, and it looks like it could potentially hold such a power generator in it. So he's just using this giant sword with the power generator built in. Does not have an extra storm shield. So I think this one looks very cool, and I've gone for this red and black style of Black Templar shoulder pad, because I have some that are just your typical white and black cross. This one is actually a freehand done by one of the painters, and he has also a very nice freehand on his forehead and on his face, on his helmet. Move on to the next guy. Next guy is a White Scar. Probably nothing special on him. Yeah, I don't think that he has anything special. Next models are again the guys with the jump axe. So a guy with a chainsword, a shield with some leaves, laurels on it, and this is a jump pack from the Vanguard veteran squad. Next one is a very angry Blood Angel. He has jet black hair and a lot of purity seals on him, a vial of blood, a storm shield, and a chainsword with the Blood Angel symbol. And as you can see, this is the jump pack from the Death Company. Moving on, I wanted to show you the next guy, which is a black shield. I have 2 black shields and 2 sergeants with heavy thunderhammers. That's how I run my squad. I run it as, if they don't have jump packs, there are just 8 guys with shields and chainswords, and 2 guys with heavy thunderhammers, so the sergeant and the black shield. This way I can have some anti-tank and heavy hitting force in my squad, and a lot of attacks for dealing with hordes and stuff like that. That's just how I like to use them personally. So this black shield has a black shield shoulder pad with the purity seals. I don't know which chapter this guy belongs to, he does not tell me, but I have my suspicions, which I'm not going to tell you because he asked me not to. So, accessories on his belt, some scroll, maybe containing secrets about his origin, the cool lightning effect on his heavy thunderhammer. As you can see, a very nice job done by the painter, and again, nice coloration on his wrist display that shows some very important information about the Xenos threat in the area. So that's the first black shield. Next, I'll show you the sergeant of the squad. He's again a Blood Angel with laurels on his head. He's obviously a very senior soldier. He's seen a lot of combat, and he's done a lot of work in the tournaments. I can't tell you how many times this guy was single-handedly slaying enemy warlords and finishing off tanks and monsters and etc. He's just crazy good. He has this pattern, the industrial pattern, I don't know how it's called, hazard pattern, on his cable here that's connecting his power pack to the heavy thunderhammer, and he has a typical symbol on the right knee pad, the Deathwatch red line and the number of the squad, and again a red cape that is a typical thing for this particular squad that he's in. So a very nice model indeed. I love this one. Next sergeant that I want to show you is a flash terror, and he's a very, very stoic. Again, he has this heavy thunderhammer. This one does not have the lightning effect because it was made before the heavy thunderhammer, on which I've decided to add the lightning effect. So I have two these ones and two ones that have the lightning effect. I think of that as if two of those are activated and two of them are for now shut down because there are no enemies at the moment nearby. So the flash terror shoulder pad, a typical, again, red cape that I have for these squads. Yeah, nothing else unusual about him except the scroll on his side. I don't know what's written in there, maybe something very important. Maybe he is collecting notes on how to kill Xenos to tell his colleague flash terrors later when he is back home. And this one is a very, very beautiful black shield. I think of him as a former World Eater because he has this amazing blue cape on him. A very, very nice job done by the painter. A lot of scratches, a lot of wear and tear. His cloak and his hood also scratched up and with the same pattern and a red trim on the front, and this wonderful lightning effect on the heavy thunderhammer. A very nice looking green wire that connects it to the power pack, and his backpack is actually from the Dark Angels kit, but I've decided that this sword will look great on this black shield because, well, even though the actual sword is a symbol of Dark Angels, not World Eaters, but I think no one will probably notice that as a discrepancy. Also, I wanted to tell about the additional squad. This squad has an Iron Hand, as you can see, and as I said, I have some Lightning Claws that aren't colored, so typical, just menacing looking steel, and a Raven Guard here, Raven Guard guy with very, very pale skin. He's probably suffering from the terrible illness that affects all the Raven Guard guys at some point in their career. I hope he'll be well. Next is the guy from the Blood Angels. He has a Blood Angel style power fist, a power sword. Most of the power swords in my force are orange, just because I really like orange color and I wanted them to be this color. Next is the Blood Angel guy with the Thunderhammer / heavy Thunderhammer. It can be used both ways because it's actually it's a typical Thunderhammer, but it's two-handed and it's connected to the power pack as a heavy Thunderhammer, so I use it in both ways. So he's from the Blood Angels chapter, as you can see by his shoulder pad. It's an unusual shoulder pad, but I think it's from the Death Company kit, and a lot of blood droplets covering his armor, so he is a very, very senior veteran as well. And the next guy is from the Blood Ravens chapter to pay tribute to the game that started Warhammer for me, the Dawn of War, because these are the guys that took part in the Dawn of War campaign, and I love this game very much, and I wanted to have at least one guy from their chapter as well. Now let's check out the left part of our collection here, so from this point left. These are the heavy intercessors in the lower left corner, and we'll look at all the 5 of them. By the way, these aren't original models. These are 3D printed by a 3D printing studio, local one. Yeah, they've done them themselves. And I think the sculpt is actually a great one. I've gone for the 3D printed ones because I didn't have access to the original models. They were just nowhere to buy. So I wanted some heavy intercessors and I got these ones. They have the bolt rifles, the heavy version, and they all belong to a different chapter each. So Blood Angel, Dark Angel, Imperial Fist, and there is the Space Wolf. So the Dark Angel, a green shoulder pad and knife on his right side of the body, and nothing extra special on him. The Imperial Fist, I've tried to do my best to find the heads for them which represent the chapter best, so that's why the Imperial Fist looks like that, and the Ultramarine has more of a classic hairstyle and lighter hair color, so that he looks more like Guilliman. Next are the Terminators. I have actually, how many? I have 14 Terminators here. So I'll show you a couple of them now. This one is from the Imperial Fist, again a special model. I found it on eBay. Storm Shield, Thunderhammer, and the Imperial Fist shoulder pad. And of course the Deathwatch shoulder pad as well on his left shoulder, as should be. And another Blood Angel here. This Blood Angel guy with the Crux Terminatus on his left side. The Thunderhammer and shield, very nice looking shoulder pad with purity seals and text on them. Again, text on his shield, purity seals, nicely colored blood droplets. And I'll show you some of the Black Templar Terminators. For example, this one, this guy has dual lightning claws. As you can see, even the type of edge highlighting is slightly different because it was made by a different painter. I've bought these models already pre-painted. I did not ask for them to be commission painted like most other models here, 99%. Next, move on to the Eliminators. All of the Eliminators, they are again a unit that has a mono chapter allegiance, so they are all Raven Guard. I think of it as they were commissioned, they were asked to come and help out this particular watch fortress because Raven Guard fleet was coming through this sector and they needed some help from the snipers, so they requisitioned these guys. As you can see, we have a nice camo cloak effect here, so the camo cloak is trying to turn into the color of the base, which is something that I think the painter has done pretty well here. The sergeant with the nice shining binoculars and the sniper rifle, his special ammo pack, and yeah, nothing else about this guy, nothing else special. I have some accessories on other ones. Yeah, like this guy, for example, has this relic from the Raven Guard upgrade pack, the Primaris one, I think, with this Raven skull. Now let's move on to the vehicles in my collection, and I have 11 of those. 10 of them are Walkers, 9 are Dreadnoughts, 1 Invictor Warsuit, and of course the Corvus Blackstar, because no Deathwatch collection is complete without at least one Corvus Blackstar. I love this flyer, it looks very, very elegant, not as sleek as the Drukhari or Craft World flyers, but also very rugged and brutal. So let's first look at him. That's how he looks. You can see all the lenses are very, very shiny and reflective. It has some blue, some green, some red lenses. I've fitted him with less cans now, but of course, as usual with all the vehicles, they are fully magnetized, so they just come off like that. I've never actually used this one in a tournament because this model is not that competitive at the moment, as most flyers are, unless we're talking about some AdMax flyers, and even those are struggling at the moment. So it has these freehands on the wings, the freehand with the skull and the insignia of Deathwatch, and the third company, a very nice model. I like how it was edge highlighted, and I like how the base was done. It has some very common elements, like for example this paperclip, but on this base it looks like a broken piece of, I don't know, maybe some heavy machinery. So my favorite part about this flyer is probably the windshield. The awesome reflections that the painter has done on it are wonderful. I really love them. This orange look, that's exactly what I wanted to see on it. So that's the Corvus Blackstar. Now let's move on to the Dreadnoughts. I have 9 of those, as I said, and I'll start with the 2 identical Relic Contemptors. I usually use them as typical Contemptor dreadnoughts with multi-meltas and dreadnought combat weapons. So here they are. These are Raven Guard Contemptors from Forge World. I don't remember why actually I've chosen these ones in particular. For some reason I liked the idea of having Raven Guard Contemptors. And they are fitted to be precise with less cannons, but they are magnetized. I just don't have the arm that is required for it to be a real multi-melt. I haven't bought it yet. And a Dreadnought Chain Fist, which acts like a Dreadnought combat weapon. It's actually pretty much the same, it only has this giant chainsaw on the end. So that's how the Relic Contemptor looks. Next, we'll take a look at this Ironclad Dreadnought. And in my idea, I wanted to use this Ironclad as a deep strike element in my army. I have not used it yet like that, but I still have this plan because Deathwatch have this stratagem called Teleportarium. So you can put any vehicle, almost any unit, any dreadnought, any infantry or biker unit into Teleportarium and deep strike it. And I thought that it would be nice to use it in conjunction with this Ironclad to deep strike him behind the opponent's back and just charge everything that comes in front of him. So I have not tried it yet because in most games I just didn't have the points for this guy, and I wanted more shooting in my army instead of the close combat, which was already abundant with all the kill teams that I have already in the characters. But anyways, this model is very nice, and I love Ironclads. If you have seen my video called 5 Most Underrated Units, this guy is one of those. So as you can see, he's a Blood Angel. He has the Death Company symbols on him, and I imagine that this is just a crazy Black Rage Space Marine inside of a sarcophagus that was sent to the Deathwatch Fortress because the Blood Angels were tired of dealing with him, because he just was not dying inside this Ironclad sarcophagus, and it was so hard for the enemies to kill him. So the Blood Angels got tired of dealing with him and trying to call him down, saying that there is no horse around. So they've just decided to send him to Deathwatch. Maybe the Alliance will be able to do something about this crazy guy, but it seems that he's still alive to this day. So that's the idea behind this fellow in my force. So that's the Ironclad. Now let's move on to these 3 Venerable Dreadnoughts. I use them only as Venerable Dreadnoughts because I believe that the Deathwatch should be using only the most senior and experienced versions of all units. That's why I believe that it's a big mistake on the Games Workshop part that they have not given us the opportunity to use the veteran intercessors inside our 40 skill team. So I think that it would be so great if we could just say that this guy, for example, this Blood Angels Intercessor, which has so many nifty accessories on him that clearly show how experienced he is, that he is not just an intercessor, he is a veteran intercessor. And there is not a big difference between those in terms of data sheets, but they have higher leadership, which is something that is clearly a theme inside the Deathwatch, because the typical Deathwatch kill team has leadership 9 on the sergeant instead of leadership 8 on a typical Space Marine squad. So it's already present in the Deathwatch book, but not in the 40 skill team. And also they have an extra attack, which is also something I really like, because I will be probably running at least one 40 skill team with the Outriders and these guys with, for example, the Chainsword, because the one extra great thing about the veteran intercessors is that they can have this build with the bolt rifle, and also they can use the Assault Intercessor loadout whilst being the veteran version of the Assault Intercessor, which is also great, but for now we don't have this option. So let's move on to the Venerable Dreadnoughts, and we'll start probably with this guy. This one is my favorite because he has this nice flames on his sarcophagus, and I use him mostly in the tournaments. This one has seen a lot of tournaments. The other two not as much. Probably this one on the second place, and this one has seen least amount of action. But anyways, he has this cool plasma gun, and as you can see, he's from the Space Wolves chapter, and he has a Stormbolter here. A Stormbolter is also magnetized, as you can see. It's slightly loose, but it's just for the ease of changing the underslung weapon. and the plasma gun. I almost always run him with a multi-melta, but sometimes I take the plasma gun if I don't have the extra 5 points. But I recommend to usually run him with a multi-melta. It's a better choice in most cases. So that's the first guy. The second guy, let's look at this one, which is not as experienced in battle. It's the Iron Hand one, so he has about a bit more gold on him. I actually bought them from a guy who was collecting Grey Knights on an auction, miniature auction, and I've bought a whole bunch of paladins from him, a whole bunch of Grey Knights infantry that I've used to fill out my Grey Knights collection, but the dreadnoughts I decided to use them in my Deathwatch. So this guy was initially in the Grey Knights army, but he was changed to be Iron Hands. So that's the second dreadnought, and the last venerable dreadnought is this guy. He has clearly some indications that he's serving in the Deathwatch. First of all, the Deathwatch insignia, the red one, and on his left armor plate he has this cool sword that pierces the head of the foul Xenos alien. Plasma cannon on him, and he's from the Salamanders chapter. I probably need to swap this hand on this dreadnought to the one there and make this guy a Space Wolf and that guy a Salamander, because he has so many flames. That would be probably the right choice. And let's move on to the bigger ones. So I have 3 Redemptor Dreadnoughts because they are a staple of each of my lists. I don't come to any tournaments playing Deathwatch without 3 Redemptor Dreadnoughts. They are just too good. Even now, when they cost much more than they did previously, I think they are absolutely worth their 185 points or 190 in the way I run them. I usually run them without the Icarus pod on the top, but with the underslung Onslaught Gatling cannon. So I have a Space Wolf here. So he is, as you can see, in a very dynamic pose. He's certainly running to take someone's head off, and he has these cool accessories on him that I found on the internet with the blades, extra blades on his hands, and a lot of gold elements, a lot of this runic style, Viking style details on his armor, which I like a lot. His teeth, as you can see, the wolf's pelt and head on his left shoulder pad. So a lot of cool accessories. I really like how it looks, and this glowing rune here is also a nice touch in terms of the painter's work. So that's my first Redemptor. Now let's move on to the second one. The second one is actually a Dark Angel. He also has a plasma, but a different color. I wanted a different color from the other two because, as you probably know, the Dark Angels have this rule called Weapons of the Dark Age, which basically means that their plasmas are better than everyone else's. And of course, in terms of rules for Deathwatch, it does not mean anything, but I wanted to make his plasma extra special. Maybe just he knows how to operate it so well because of his Dark Angel's origins, so it glows in a different way and is much more powerful. So again, the underslung cannon, the plasma, he has a slightly different pose. His body is twisted to the side and he's holding his cannon as if he is trying to block someone's attack, maybe. And he has this cool gold lion on his chest, which is also a great work in terms of the accessories that I found on the web. And he has these candles that I've added just as a touch of machine spirit love because they are right on top of his plasma reactor. Here is a Black Templar. I don't actually have a lot of Black Templars in my force, probably around 5 if you don't count the Terminators. If you count them, then it's actually a lot. But before the Terminators arrived, I only had like 2 or 3 models from the Black Templars, and that's why I wanted to make this Dreadnought a Black Templar. Again, the same accessories from the same manufacturer, these nice chains on his hand, the scrolls, the purity seals on his left armor plate, and the Black Templar symbols on the right, this cross symbol on his chest, and these Crux Terminators, giant Crux Terminators on his right shoulder. The same plasma loadout, that's how I usually run them. I have never even tried using the heavy onslaught cannon because the plasma is just so much better than the onslaught, unfortunately for the onslaught, even though I really wanted to. And last but not least is the Invictor Warsuit. It was probably the first vehicle that I got for this army. He's from the Raven Guard. As you can see, I've decided for him to be Raven Guard because Invictors must be stealthy, and the best chapter for stealthiness is, of course, Raven Guard. As you can see, the painter did a great job by making his eyes look very red and his skin pale, which is clearly very nice for a guy from the Raven Guard. He looks like he's from that particular chapter. And this model is also fully magnetized, as all the Redemptors and all the other guys are. I have not magnetized the small dreadnoughts because it's useless. You just can just take the arm off and put any other weapon as you want, because they stick very nicely without the magnets. But for this one, I have a magnet here in his arm. You can just slightly slide it off, and as you can see, there is a magnet right here. So he has a fist and the loadout with the Iron Hail heavy stubbers. Nothing really to change here. And in terms of accessories, I've added this insignia to him, the decal, another decal on his right shoulder pad, and probably nothing extra special else. Yeah, this decal little one on the arm is also from the Raven Guard transfer sheet that is added to the Raven Guard upgrade pack that you can find, the Primaris one. So these are all the vehicles in the collection. Let's move on to the right side of our board here. So as you can see, I'm deliberately avoiding the first row of our stand here, which are obviously the characters from my army, and we'll take a detailed look at them at the end of the video. But for now, we're going to be checking out this part of the collection, which are mostly my heavy support and elite units, and also some fast attack, obviously. So we'll start with the fast attack in this case, and these are going to be my bikers. I have 2 units of bikers, 1 unit of outriders there, and 1 unit of veteran bikers. We'll start with them. So I'm not sure who is the manufacturer. I found them somewhere on the internet, but I really like how these bikers look. As you can see, they have these tracks like a tank, so they are something in between a tank and a bike, which looks extremely cool in my opinion. They have these bolters, which are also magnetized, and I have the components for the multi-melta and for the plasma gun on them, and also the left hand on these guys is also magnetized. In this case, I'm using chain swords on them, but I can actually give them power swords, power axes, whatever. So these guys from the Flash Tears, that's how he looks, and also the Martian base, the typical Martian base, as all my models have. The White Scar here, he has the same bike, but different face, and the White Scar face, it's from the upgrade pack, White Scar upgrade pack for Primaris, the shoulder pad, and again chain sword. So nothing else for him. Next will be a Dark Angel, Raven Wing Dark Angel here. So the Raven Wing shoulder pad from the Raven Wing upgrade pack, the chain sword, and the special backpack again from this same kit with this wonderful looking sword on his backpack stop. So that's the Dark Angel. That's the Blood Angel. He has blonde hair, cap on his backpack. This one is, I think it's from the Death Company kit as well, with this blood droplets on the sides of this power pack, and chainsword, and the cool looking shoulder pad, and the Ultramarine. So this guy has the Ultramarine helmet, again from the Normal's Firstborn upgrade pack. The shoulder pad is from the same pack as well. These bikes are also painted in the same style of matte black armor with the chipping and edge highlighting done on them to make them pop and look much better than without this technique. So these are the veteran bikers. Let's move on to the outriders. So this guy is the sergeant. He's the leader of the squad. He looks very cool. A very nice looking bike. And as you can see, he's holding his enemies' skulls as a club, as a weapon to beat someone to death with. He has some tufts, green tufts on his base to decorate it, and this nice looking decal of white scars. His screen on the bike is also painted as usual with all the details on my models. I've asked the painters to be very careful with that, not miss any details, hopefully. And the chainsword on his side. Here's another guy of the squad. He has this his chainsword is pointing in some direction, probably showing to his comrades, to his friends, where the enemy is at. Very pretty models. I really love how Outriders look. They are one of my favorite models in the Space Marine collection so far. I really like the fact that they are now 45 points. They cost 45 points as they did before. It's great because I don't believe that they should cost 50. It's too much for this platform, which doesn't have an invulnerable save, and the best that it has is toughness 5 and 4 wounds. It's not bad, but it does not sound like 50 points to me. And this is the third last guy from the squad. Again, the same design, the same paint job, a skull on his base, and a slightly different pose. These are the guys from the Indomitus, as you can imagine. So these are my bikers. Now let's move on to the other units and we'll take a look at my Inceptors. I have a unit of 6. I have not yet used them in a game. I've just had them sitting on my shelf because I did not have a chance to play with them. They were just... I didn't have a proper list to use them in. They have this pretty violet plasma. This guy is from the Space Wolf chapter with the shoulder pad from the Space Wolf Terminator kit, as far as I can recall. And this one is from the Dark Angel chapter with this cool custom looking shoulder pad with a flame on it. Very nice, very thematic. Now let's take a look at probably my favorite squad in terms of the way that it was built and how I've been designing the bits, and each and every warrior in them are my 3 units of Hellblasters. There they are, and each of the 5-man squads have different color of plasma. So the furthest one has orange plasmas, the one in the middle has green plasmas, and the third one has blue, as you can see. So first we'll start with the blue squad. Here is the sergeant, and they have a whole bunch of things on them in terms of upgrades. So for example, this sergeant, he has this cool tabard on his legs, in between his legs, which is from the Ultramarines upgrade kit for the Firstborn Marines. The head is also from that kit, which looks perfect on his Primaris body. And I've also fitted these plasma inceptors with the scopes from the bolt rifles, from the Intercessor bolt rifles. I had a lot of them lying around, and I decided that they will look cool on the plasma rifle, as if it was slightly modified for use in the Deathwatch chapter. So he also has, what I really like is he has a blade, which is, if you know the bits, you can see that this is a blade from the Craft Worlds army. So I don't remember which kit exactly, but it's definitely from Craft Worlds, maybe Drukhari. No, it should be Craft Worlds, yeah. and it looks very cool. As you can see, his plasma has slight tinting on the end, indicating that it was overheated a bunch of times, but thankfully this guy is still alive. So that's the sergeant. Now let's move on to the Imperial Fist. As you can see, he has this huge Auspex on his backpack. It's from the Primaris Imperial Fist's upgrade kit, and he also has a trophy on his side. It's the Drukhari blade that he uses to eradicate the foul Xenos threat on the worlds that the Emperor sends him to. He has a bolt pistol on his side because I like the idea of Space Marines having a bolt pistol as a backup weapon at all times. And he has some vials on his back side. They are probably some stims that he uses to shoot better. They are actually from the Drukhari kit, also like this knife on his side. So that's the Imperial Fist. Next we'll take a look at the Howling Griffon. Model looks very cool. He also has a Drukhari blade and some vials with maybe a special poison that he applies to this blade to make it even more deadly if he needs to defend himself with his knife. And this shoulder pad from the Deathwatch Veterans kit, the Howling Griffon shoulder pad. And the helmet is from the Deathwatch upgrade kit, the one that was released initially in 7th edition, if I recall correctly. And the same blue glowing plasma. Very nice model. Now we move on to the Iron Hand. He has, if I recall, he has this cool dial manometer looking thing on his plasma, and probably he measures how much he can overcharge it without actually exploding it, as they are very calculating guys, and it fits the theme perfectly. Yeah, that's how this Iron Hand looks, and his helmet is from the Primaris upgrade kit. Next one is from the Taurans. They are a very mystical chapter, rarely appearing in the Imperial records, and I've tried to indicate that using this Earthfine Reaver helmet from the Reaver kit, and probably something else if I remember. Yeah, he has this cool bayonet on his plasma, if my camera can focus, which also has the marks of being overheated from the plasma shots, from the barrel of the plasma, which is a nice touch. Next we'll take a look at the 5-man squad with the green plasmas. This one is the Dark Angel. He has the hood on his head, a very nice gradient on it, shoulder pad, and some blood on his bayonet, probably from the foul Xenos blood. He has a special dagger, the Dark Angel's dagger, on his side, and a book with probably some very secretive stuff that he doesn't want anyone to read. A bolt pistol on his side, as all the Hellblasters should have, and yeah, that's the Dark Angel. This one is a Lamenter, as you can see by his shoulder pad with the broken heart. A very, very cool shoulder pad. It was a nightmare for the painter to paint, if I remember his comments on that. He hated this process, but this shoulder pad turned out to be very, very nice. He has this, again, this bayonet on his Hellblaster. The bayonets, if I remember correctly, they are from the Drukhari kit, probably the Talos one, if I remember correctly. I don't actually recall that. If I am able to remember that, I'll write it up. So yeah, he has this nice dagger also on his side, which he defends himself with when the time comes, as well as with the bayonet. Next one is a Salamander. A very nice face on him. Looks very cool, and as you can see, I've added an element from the Lich Guard armor to his crotch, which protects his most vulnerable places on his body, and he has a melter bomb, as befits the Salamander soldier. So a very nice looking model here, with a lot of work done to make it stand out from the crowd. This guy is their sergeant. the flash tower. He looks extremely angry, and he has the biggest bayonet of the bunch. He has wings on his backpack. They are from the Death Company kit, if I recall correctly. So yeah, that's the sergeant. And the last guy is from the Mentors. That's the name. It was very hard to find on the internet. I did not remember how this chapter is called, but these are the Mentors, and this guy has these skulls on his belt, hanging from his belt, probably his last prey. And he also has the scope on him. Yeah, and he has, as you can see, he has the bigger scope, the one from the Stocker bolt rifle, not the regular bolt rifle. So he's meant to be like a more long-ranged guy in the squad. And his helmet is on his side, deactivated, waiting for him to finally protect his head from the incoming fire. So that's the second squad done. And starting the third last squad of Hellblasters. This is the White Scar. Obviously he has someone's hand sticking from his belt, very White Scar-esque, and a dagger as well, the Drukhari dagger. They look very nice, that's why I've added it to some of the models, 3 probably already. And a helmet again on his belt, deactivated, and a very nice looking orange plasma. It's the Space Wolf. He has the crazy haircut going on and a very cool looking bald top of the head. Again, this is the head from the Terminator, Space Wolf's Terminator kit, sorry. And he has a Space Wolf dagger on his belt, a bolt pistol on his belt as well, and his favorite pet's tail on his belt as well. A lot of stuff on this guy, a lot of accessories. Next is the second Imperial Fist of 15 Hellblasters. I wanted to have 2 of this. He has a Crux Terminatus on him, a special Hellblaster helmet with an Auspex with a special bionic eye. Think of it as an extra Auspex that helps him to aim better. And his helmet is also on his side, in case he decides to protect his head. This guy is from the Brazen Claws, the same knight-esque looking helmet from the Deathwatch upgrade kit. Dagger from the it's from the Intercessor kit, and this squad has also the markings on the knee pads. And the last guy is from the Silver Skulls. He has the book with some special rituals, as the Silver Skulls are known to be a very mystical and ritualistic chapter, and that's why he also has this skull with the hair on his belt, probably some shaman thing that he does before the battle to make him invincible to enemy fire. A nice looking purity seal, an orange plasma, very nice model. So that's the Hellblasters done. Now let's move on to the aggressors, and I have 12 of them. That's why I won't be showing you each and every one, because even though I like them a lot, I'll show you only the ones that are very, very decorated, and I have a couple of those. I've gone crazy with banners on the aggressors because I didn't have any banners in my army before that, and I wanted to have some, so I have 3 banners in between those 12 models. The first guy is from the Ultramarines, and he has a cool looking Ultramarine banner behind his back, sitting on his base inside some orc's eye socket. Yeah, that's very nice. And they are also fully magnetized, as you can see, so the arm comes off. And I have the flamers for them as well. I have not used them in a game yet, because the aggressors, in my opinion, cost too much. They should cost 5 points less at least, and should have either the shoot and advance with no penalties, or the double shoot ability. Either this or the second one, and the 5 points discount. That's the minimum that I want to make them usable. I think it would make them usable. Very nice looking model with the decal on here. No, it's not a decal actually, it's a freehand of an ultramarine symbol on his backpack. I hope you can see that. So yeah, that's the first guy. I think of him as a sergeant. The next one is a space wolf, and he has a full freaking wolf on his base. That's crazy. A wolf, cybernetic wolf, probably his buddy, and they are both running towards the danger. He also has this cool looking banner on top of him with the space wolf symbol and the space wolf accessory on the very top. A whole bunch of purity seals. This guy means business. And he also has a sculpted by the painters tabard in between his legs. Next guy is also from the Space Wolves. Maybe he's from a different chapter, different successor chapter, I don't know. We probably should ask him about that. He has this cool protective storm shield, mini storm shield on his back to save him from Darklands to the back. And he has this nice looking accessory on his shoulder pad with runic amulets. And again, another amulet on his shoulder pad, and a very, very cool looking hairstyle. He looks like some wrestler from the 90s. Yeah, that's the Space Wolf. Next, let's move on to the Dark Angel. He has the banner from, if I remember correctly, it's from the Ezekiel kit, the old Ezekiel Firstborn model. That's why it's so diagonally positioned, because there was another way to actually fit it on the aggressor's backpack. And by the way, backpack is also magnetized, so you can take off the frag launcher if you want to. So that's the model. Very nice aggressor. And I'll show you one more, this Black Templar here. Very nice paint job, very clean. Dark metal all over. Looks very grimdark to me. Hope you like it as well. So now let's look at the rightmost part of the collection, the Blade Guard. And so let's start with the Space Wolves, probably because these guys are the models I'm most proud of, because when I was finding the bits for them, I've mixed a whole bunch of kits together. These shields I found on the internet. The sword is from the Space Wolf upgrade pack. The shoulder pad is from a different upgrade pack, if I remember correctly. This sword, this dagger, is from Tau kit, Tau Fire Warrior kit, and it looks awesome because it, as I think of it, he probably killed some Tau commander and took his honor dagger with him as a sign of dominance over the Tau race. Very nice. He also has this belt on his back, again from the Space Wolf upgrade kit, if I remember correctly. This accessory on his backpack, which represents an iron halo, it's from the Wolfen kit, and it looks very nice here. It fits perfectly the Primaris backpack, and this backpack, as you can see, is from the Space Wolf Lieutenant kit, which actually one of these guys, this one, is that Space Wolf Lieutenant, but he's built slightly differently. So yeah, and he also has this glowing rune amulet on his gorget. So yeah, extremely well done by the painter, great job. And it was a pleasure to find all these bits and actually create this model in my head. The next guy is shooting his pistol. It's a Xenos made Necron style pistol, as you can see. A special one I also found on the internet. and the amulet here is from this Space Wolf upgrade kit. The amulet on his neck as well. The dagger, you already seen him, this dagger, I mean, on the Hellblasters, it's from the Craft Worlds kit. Yeah, it's the Dire Avengers box, I'm pretty sure of that. Again, the Wolfen backpack accessory, the shield from the, it's the shield from the Space Wolf Terminators kit. No, sorry, I'm wrong. It's the shield from the Wolfen kit, yeah. I had an extra one and I wanted it to be this yellow nice color, and the painter did this job perfectly. So another belt on his back. Yeah, that's the second guy. And the third guy is made from the Space Wolf Lieutenant. By the way, these two are the Primaris Lieutenants from the original 8th edition starter box of Space Marines versus Death Guard. That's where I actually got these two guys. And this one is a Space Wolf Lieutenant with a very dynamic pose. As you can see, he has this cool power axe in his hand and the Deathwatch shield in his other hand. And a nice looking dagger, Space Wolf dagger. Yeah, extremely nice model. A custom made helmet. And another Wolfen accessory on his back. Now let's move on to the other guys, the Blade Guard that were made mixed, the mixed squad. So this one has a Necron spear and the shield from the Dark Angels upgrade kit. The face of this model, I'm not sure where I found this face, this head. I'll try to remember that later. The Blade Guard, the second one, has a custom saber looking blade, mastercrafted power sword, and the typical Blade Guard shield on him. And the last guy is again from the Imperial Fists with this yellow looking spear, Necron spear. They remind me of Power Rangers, this squad, because one of them is bright red, one of them is green, and one of them is yellow, bright yellow. His shield is actually again from the Lich Guard box. It's actually a blade, but I thought that it looks cool this way as a shield, and I think fits the theme perfectly. That's the guy from the Black Templars. He has a free-handed Black Templar shoulder pad, because when these models were made there was no available Black Templar upgrade kit, or the shoulder pads were too small for the shoulders of the Blade Guard, so the painter had to make a freehand Black Templar symbol with this cool orange power swords with some chipping done on them. Very nice work. And the other two are mostly the same, so I'll show you the next squad in line, which are my Ultramarines. They have longer power swords. These are the power swords from the Grey Knights boxes. It's the Grey Knights Nemesis power sword, and the shield is a Deathwatch shield, as you can see, from the Deathwatch Veterans kit. And the shoulder pad is from the Ultramarines Firstborn upgrade kit. Another freehand here on the Crux Terminatus on the second guy. The painter was depicting the symbol, the insignia symbol of Deathwatch. Very nice looking freehand here. And let's move on to the Eradicators. I'll show you the sergeant here. He has a white helmet to indicate that he's a sergeant, and the white melter rifle. As the Iron Hands, they usually have white weapons. All the Deathwatch have the red guns usually, but I decided that it would be okay if the Iron Hands had something special about them. So this Iron Hand guy has white melt rifle, as two of his colleagues do as well. Next guy in the squad. His helmet is actually from the Firstborn Dreadnought, the small Dreadnought his head that he has on his sarcophagus, that's the one that I use here, and it fits the Eradicators perfectly. They look very, very nice with his head. A nice looking shoulder pad. It's from the Primaries upgrade kit. The accessory is also from that kit. It's some Auspex unit, something to measure maybe external radiation, something like that. And Omnissiah approved purity seal on his hand. And let's move on to the last squad of the right side of the board. It's the Eradicators of the Salamanders chapter. This is the sergeant, as you can see by the flame, giant flame on his backpack. He has this special shoulder pad, Salamander shoulder pad, with the hammer on it, the hammer accessory, and the bolt pistol. Very beautiful model. And the red eyes, if you can see. Yeah, the red eyes that are a feature of the Salamanders. Here are the two last guys of the squad. Each of them has an accessory. This guy has these pliers, again from the Salamanders upgrade kit, and this one has an accessory hammer. Very nice, terrifying looking soldiers. Now let's look at all the characters that I have in my collection. I have 15 of them, and we'll start with the main guy, the Watchmaster. I have brought an extra light so that I can show you him in his full glory. So he is a Watchmaster named Vorn Hasp, and he's from the Crimson Fists chapter. He is a very, very nice gentleman. Not nice towards Xenos, of course, but nice towards everyone else. I think of him as a very calm and funny guy, and everyone loves him in the chapter. That's how he looks. A very nicely painted cloak with the soft gradients. The same goes for his spear. Well done. Looks very shiny and glowy and extremely dangerous, as it's a Custodes weapon, so it should be dangerous. Nice details on the shaft of his spear. His face is extremely well painted. His armor looks very strong, very tough. Some scrolls on his belt. And the Osseous key, or the clavis, I don't know which one is that, the thing on his arm that helps him take control of any machine, whatever the origin, Xenos or man. He can control the machine with this thing on his left gauntlet. So that's Vorn Hasp, the chapter, the Watchmaster, of this Watch Fortress. Next is the second character that I had painted for this collection. His name is Themsire Byrel. He's from the Salamanders. He is a Gravis captain with the Gravis armor. He has a very nice looking cloak, as you can see here, with some soft gradients and shadows. The same goes for this part. It's a bit scratched up to look natural. A very, very big sword in his hand, and the power fist in another. A great model. I'm very sad that I could not have used it enough in the games, because I've been using the captain with the shield exclusively because of the Dominus Aegis relic that gives my dreadnoughts a 5-up invulnerable save, which is obviously much more important than bringing the character with the toughness 5 instead of toughness 4, which is not that important. So that's the Gravis captain. Actually, while we haven't gone too far from the Watchmaster, I also wanted to say that I love this model, and I'm very sad that it was a very expensive one throughout the 9th edition, and it still is. 130 points, I think it's a bit too much for this guy, especially considering that usually you want to take the captain with a shield because of the relic, the Dominus Aegis relic, which is still useful even with Armor of Contempt, in my opinion. So 130 points is a bit too much for him, plus I think that he should have 6 attacks. He should not have 5 attacks like a typical firstborn captain, because he's better than the firstborn captain, much more experienced, and he should have more attacks, in my opinion. And probably his Osseous Key or Clavis ability, the Clavis Stratagem and Osseous Key relic, should be incorporated in his datasheet, because he's a special guy and he should feel special and be worth taking over, for example, the Indomitus captain with a shield that I've used in most of my games. But that's the situation as it stands now. So moving on, the next character that we're going to take a look at is the Blood Angels Terminator Captain. His loadout is the Shield and Thunderhammer. He has this huge storm shield with a blood drop decorated on it. The green lands on his Auspex. A very cool looking Thunderhammer, Blood Angels stylized. This model is actually from the Blood Angels Start Collecting kit, if you're interested. Start Collecting box set. A very nice looking cape he has. Such a cool gradient here. And by the way, this guy's name is Nicodemus Lorenzo. This Dark Angels captain with the Relic Blade does not have a name yet. I think that name should be earned, and he has not played a game with me yet, so I have not given him a name. He must have his own name, but I don't know it, so we'll figure out his name later. This model is actually from the Dark Vengeance box set. A very nice looking model. I like it a lot, and I especially like how the cloth on his chest looks like. Very, very nice. Very bright green color. I like it. And the Deathwatch shield looks very cool with him. Actually, this model should have a Stormbolter, I think, in his right hand, but it was switched by the painter to the shield. This guy, his name is Galen Geminus, and he is the hero of my Watch Fortress, because I've played so many tournaments with him, and he literally got me out of so many difficult situations. His Dominus Aegis relic that he carried in each of the games saved so many lives of my dreadnoughts. It's crazy how many times this character showed what a hero of the Imperium he definitely is. His name is Galen Geminus. Next character in line is also a captain. This one is painted in more of a non-metallic metal style, which is mostly, I haven't used that style in most of my models. I wanted them to look more like Games Workshop typical box art style, but this one was an experiment, and I think it turned out to be nice. The metal on his shield looks very good, on his armor as well. You see all these highlights. A very nice freehand of the Ultramarines symbol on his cloak. Again, his armor shines very nicely. This captain is actually a Shadow Spear Phobos captain, but as you can see, I fitted him with the Dominus Aegis shield to represent the relic from the Deathwatch supplement. I've used this relic extensively in my tournament games with Deathwatch. In every game that I've played, I've taken this relic with me. So that's the Ultramarines character. I don't have a name for him yet because I just didn't feel like naming him at the moment, but I'm sure that we'll find his name in the future. Next is the Iron Priest. His name is Jarl Thunderhowl. He's a Space Wolves tech priest, so he's basically trying to look out for my dreadnoughts to make sure that they are okay and well maintained, and he repairs them if they are hit hard in battle. So that's the Iron Priest of the Space Wolves serving in my Deathwatch force. A very nice glowy effect on his Thunderhammer and on his Frost pistol. Next model is actually a Tech Priest Engineer. He was performing the duties of the Tech Marine in my watch company, Watch Fortress, before the Kial Thunderhowl got to us. So he was maintaining all the vehicles himself. He has this very, very cool base that the painter has done for me, and the overall look on him is awesome. I like him a lot. I actually loved using the Tech Marine in my Deathwatch games because I loved the idea of restoring 3 wounds each turn on my dreadnoughts, but then I've switched the Tech Priest, Tech Marine to the Chaplain, because Chaplain is much more useful even than the Tech Marine is, because he gives more buffs to the army, more necessary buffs to actually deal with the opponent, not stay alive as long as possible. Next model also doesn't have a name yet, but this is the Primaris Tech Marine. He has this deep, dark red, crimson red colored armor. A very nice touch. Very cool model. I really like how the Primaris Tech Marine looks. And I love the way that they've given him ability to shoot his pistol, shoot his bolter, and throw grenades all at the same time. He has this special rule that allows him to do what usually models cannot do, meaning fire the assault weapon and the pistol at the same time. That's great because he has more arms than usually models have, so he's allowed to. This Chaplain is one of the oldest models that I have in the collection. I think he does not have a name yet also. He has angry eyes, as you can see. They are slightly colored, showing that he is very angry at the enemies of the Imperium. He has this very nice looking cloak, dark brown color. Leathery, as you can see, a very fine texture on it. And a very classic model. He can be used in basically any chapter because he does not have any allegiance symbols on him, but obviously I used him in Deathwatch. To be honest, I have not used him in tournaments because I've always used the Chaplain on bike because of his speed. But that's a great model, and I'm waiting to finally someday use him in a tournament. And moving on to the Chaplain on bike, a wonderful model. As you can see, I've gone for this lava look on the base. Great looking base. I really like how the painter has done this job perfectly. He also, as the Outriders do, he has some details on his screen on his bike. All the buttons are also highlighted, as is the book that is mounted on top of his bike. Very cool. A great model also. He's done a whole lot of work for me in tournaments, keeping my guys very angry at the opponent all the time, giving them rerolls and giving them +1 to wounds in combat, and most importantly giving them +2 to the charges, which is the most important part, is actually getting into combat with the Space Marines. I love the Chaplain on Bike, a wonderful model indeed. And here's the Lieutenant. He's from Emperor's Spears, so the Ultramarines successor chapter, and his name is Andronicus Aurelian. So he's a hero as well. I have rarely used him in games, probably only 1 or 2 times, because obviously as Deathwatch we don't need as much the reroll once to wound, because we can select the battlefield roll for the rerolls and actually have all the rerolls that we need for one particular battlefield roll. Obviously this is not just like having a special lieutenant, but you can save a lot of points, and I honestly don't have the slot because I am using all the 3 slots in the battalion. I always run a battalion with Deathwatch, and I have a chaplain, I have a librarian, and I have a captain, so I don't have the space for lieutenants, even though I love this Indomitus lieutenant model, and I've talked about this model a lot in my videos. And some of you, if you have seen other how to play videos or how to start collecting certain army, you might have heard me talking about the Indomitus Lieutenant as the best lieutenant in all 40k, in my opinion, because he has an inbuilt 4-up and 1, 2-up save, he has this cool Volkite pistol, and the Mastercrafted Power Sword, and all that, and for all that you only pay extra 15 points, so it's a no-brainer choice, in my opinion. So a great model, and I'm really waiting for the new Space Marine Codex to solve the problem of HQs, because I believe that if I take a captain, I should be able to take a lieutenant without actually spending the slot, the HQ slot, because it's okay for an army to have a librarian, a lieutenant, a captain, and a chaplain, so 4 HQs. And at the moment you simply cannot do that without running an extra detachment, which is extremely expensive nowadays with the Nephilim command points update. So I'm waiting for the new Codex Space Marines to drop and solve this problem once and for all. And what I would do is just allow to have 1 lieutenant for each captain that you have in your detachment, and you can only have 1 captain in the detachment, so there won't be any threes multiples of lieutenants running around. Next model is the second lieutenant I have. This one is a Phobos lieutenant, a very cool pose that this model has. Extremely highly detailed. I love the Phobos line of models of Space Marines. It's a shame that I have not used them in tournaments, because I don't believe that they are good enough at the moment, but I'm really waiting to use them a lot in games, and I hope that I will get a chance as soon as possible. A very nice looking model indeed. Here is another workhorse of my armies. It's the librarian. His name is Jarek Sybasi. He is meant to be from the Grey Knights chapter. I know that Grey Knights don't have Primaris Marines yet, but I believe that he may be the first experiment, and he does not tell anyone that he is from the Grey Knights, but they have their suspicions because of his left shoulder pad. I just believe that if I have a librarian in my force, he should be from the best psychically active chapter of Space Marines, and who is better than the 666th chapter. So yeah, that's the librarian, a very cool model, and thanks to the Deathwatch psychic powers being so awesome, the Primorphic Resonance and the Fortified with Contempt are the 2 psychic powers that I cast each and every turn in each and every tournament game. The 5-up Shrug and +1 to hit and fight first on a unit of infantry or bikers is wonderful. I just can't tell you how many times it saved the lives of the Space Marines in my army. A very nice looking model, a very highly detailed cloak. Again, nice soft gradients here, and the same on the sword with this nice contrasting blue element, maybe some energy symbol that makes the sword even deadlier than it already is. And as you can see, he has this glowy element on his arm that shows that he's casting a spell. A very great model. I love this guy. Next model, to be honest, is the one I really take pride in, because in order to make this model, I've used 7 different kits. It's a completely unique Chief Apothecary that I have. He's from the Dark Angels chapter, as you can see, and his name is Larthiel Voham. His body is, as I can remember, from the Dark Angels captain, the Primaris version, the named character. His name is Lazarus. His head is from the Primaris Apothecary, as are the backpack and these things, the apothecary things on his backpack, the power pack. His left arm is from the Grey Knight's Terminator Apothecary, with an Arthesium and this chainsaw, with a very, very nice looking display here. As you can see, he has some blood on his cloak between his legs. A pistol, as you can see, the holster on his right side. A Tau stylized pistol, Absolver bolt pistol, in his hand, and a very, very beautiful black cloak on his back. So it took me 7 different kits. Of course, the main body was from the Lazarus, but everything else, all the bits, were very, very much individual. So I love this model, and it's a shame that I don't use him often, just because I don't really, my playstyle doesn't really fit an apothecary in it, and I don't have the command points nowadays to run him as he should be run. But I'm still waiting for the days when I'll be using this model, because it's a great model indeed. And that's it, guys. That's the army that I have. These are 8,000 points of Deathwatch. It took me a long time to film this video. I hope that it wasn't too long. I'll try to do my best in the editing to make this watchable as much as possible. Sorry if I forgot to mention something or I forgot the origins of some bits, because to be honest, I've done so many other models since this army that I could have simply forgot what was the origin of some of the things, and I've mixed up something else. But hopefully it was a pleasant viewing experience for you. If you have any questions, if you want to discuss Deathwatch with me, I'll be very happy to tell you everything I know and talk with you about that. I hope you like this style of video, this format. I'll probably change up a few things in between this video and the next video about a different army, which I'm not going to reveal yet what army that's going to be, but you'll have to wait for that. So if there is something that you would recommend for me to change in the format, I'll be very happy to listen. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.